How is it going, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you that are new here, my name is Ethan Bridge. I'm host of the Social Media Marketing School podcast and the guy behind the Instagram page at The Marketing Ethan. Now, the other day, I hit 10,000 followers on Instagram. And although I hate talking about followers being a big thing, because at the end of the day, they're not if they aren't targeted. But hitting 10,000 followers is a big achievement for me. I'm really proud of myself. It wasn't an overnight success. My account didn't just blow up out of nowhere and I gained 10,000 followers in a week. I worked hard, 157 days of daily posting, engaging with the community for 3 hours plus a day, responding to hundreds of DMs. But after 157 days of that hard work, I reached 10,000 followers. And it's a big goal. It's a big milestone to hit. It's something that I wanted to hit by Christmas. I've obviously hit it a couple of months early. But as I said, it didn't happen overnight. I did a lot of things right, but I did a lot of things wrong getting to this point. Now, that's why in today's episode, I actually wanted to talk about 5 different lessons that I've learned from my journey of 0 to 10,000 followers. And I hope if you are currently on a pursuit to reach that follower goal, that this will help you get in the right mindset to achieve just that. So without any further ado, let's just dive straight into the first lesson. So number 1, and it's to do with content, and it's quantity leads to quality. I haven't deleted any of my posts on my page. You can go all the way to the bottom and see my first post. And oh my God, it sucked. It was awful. I look back at it, and if you compare it to the content I create now, it's rubbish. The headline sucks. The cover sucks. The copy sucks. Everything about it was mediocre at best. Not even that good. And I had 0 followers at this point. It was a post about teaching people how to use hashtags. Why on earth should they listen to me when I had 0 followers? Everything about that post was wrong. But it was a start. You cannot create your 100th post without creating the first. Now, I'm one of these people that encourages everybody to just start no matter at what point they are at. Your first post is going to be awful. Your first podcast is going to be awful. Your first interaction or DM or comment is not going to be great. It's all something that you learn throughout. And I find it's much better to get to that point through learning and posting, opposed to starting at a point where you are quote unquote where you need to be. It shows a journey. And that journey builds trust with your audience. And it's a reason why I have left all of my posts. I'm not embarrassed about them. I look back at them and think, that was awful. Why on earth did I post that? But it shows the progression I've made. So anyone new visiting my page can see that I was once at the point they are at. And that's helpful for me in the fact that I now teach people how to grow and monetize their Instagram accounts, because that journey is something that really attributes to me being able to sell my service. They can see that I was once in a position that they are at, but through trial and error and implementing certain processes, I've been able to get to the point I am at today. That point that I'm at today is the point that my ideal customer wants to reach. So if they can see that I've made that journey, that really helps me in the selling process. But back to my point, quantity leads to quality. The more you post, the more you practice, the more you focus on your design, the more you think about your copywriting, the better it's going to become. It's bound to become better. You've got to look at yourself and learn from your mistakes and look at your copy and think, where can I improve this in the next one? You should be continually striving to improve your content. If you aren't seeing success through what you are doing, you need to take a serious look at your content, your engagement strategy, the way you are talking to other people. Because if it's not working, you're clearly doing something wrong at the moment. You have to show empathy. It all starts with, would I consume this? Would that help me out? Where have I gone wrong here? Get people to evaluate what you're doing and give their honest opinions. Because at the end of the day, the content you produce and the way you do things, you are going to be slightly biased and think you are better than you actually are, because you're the one who's putting the effort into the content creation and the engagement, you name it. When in reality, you need to be the one who takes a serious look at what you're doing and evaluate if you are doing it in the right way. So, quantity leads to quality. Just get started. You cannot post your 100th post without doing the first. And that first one is going to suck, is going to be awful, but don't worry, because the more you practice and the more you implement your lessons that you learn, the better you will become, and that growth will be exponential. So quantity leads to quality. Just get started if you haven't already. Lesson number 2, and this one is more to do with the engagement side of things. You need to be engaging because you want to, not because you have to, and it's what everyone says you need to do. Yes, you need to have a compelling engagement strategy. You need to be engaging, especially when you start your account, for 3 hours plus a day to get your name out there. But don't just engage with content because you feel as if you have to. You need to want to engage with it, because when you actually want to engage with a piece of content, the way you engage, your enthusiasm for what you're talking about will shine through within the engagement that you are leaving. If you are leaving engagement because you have to leave engagement because that's what people say you need to do, it's not going to look very good. Your comment may come across as maybe offensive if you haven't thought about the way you've said it. It may show a lack of interest because it's just off the cuff and this is great, ! You need to be leaving compelling, interesting, value-adding, curious comments for your comments to be worthwhile posting. Now, to achieve those factors, you need to be commenting because you want to comment, not because you have to. Because if you have to, you're not going to be able to display those factors because you're not enjoying it. You need to enjoy the process. So I hope you've picked a niche that you actually love talking about, because if you love talking about it, that's going to shine through in the way you engage with people. So that also comes down to the niche you pick. I've made episodes in the past about how to pick your niche and things you need to be asking yourself before you do. But if you enjoy what you do, you will engage because you want to, not because you have to. And if you get to a point where you find yourself commenting for the sake of it, stop. Take a break and come back to it later when you've got the motivation to comment because you actually want to comment. Because when you want to comment, your comments are much more powerful, they're much more compelling, and in turn, that's going to help you get those pinned comments, it's going to help you get those page visits, it's going to help people want to engage with your content, and that is what you want to achieve with your engagement strategy. So lesson number 2, comment because you want to, not because you have to. So moving on to lesson number 3, and this is a bit of a cliche one, but over time I've learned just how important it actually is, and that's to make real connections. You want to turn your followers into friends. Social media, the clue is in the name. To be successful on social media, you have to be social. It's not rocket science. But this doesn't just mean, you talk to someone in the comment section on your post. This means you reach out to them, you send them DMs, you ask them about themselves, you learn about them as an individual. You don't just class yourself as friends because you comment on each other's posts. You know about each other. You show a genuine interest in each other's vision, your goals, your journey. Because when you make these real connections with people, these are the people that are going to carry you through your journey. These are the people that are going to encourage you. These are the people that you learn from. These are the people that will share your content when you post something that is incredibly valuable. If you don't build these real connections, none of those things are going to happen, and you won't enjoy your journey as much. When you find people within your industry that are just as passionate as you are, that's really, really motivating. Get yourselves in a group. Talk to these people on a daily basis. Then you can bounce ideas off each other. You can bounce problems off each other. If you find someone that's of a similar level to you are, it's likely that you would have encountered problems that they haven't, and that they've encountered problems that you haven't. So you can be asking each other questions and find a business buddy. That sounds really cringy, but you need one. You could have multiple people that you go to on a regular basis, but finding real friends within your industry and on social media, these real connections are the people that are going to carry you through your journey and help you reach the point that you could never have possibly imagined. So, lesson number 3, make sure you are building real connections. Don't just talk to people in the comments and leave engagement on each other's posts. Send them a DM. Show genuine interest to what they have to say and what they're about, their visions, and maybe even their personal life. A lot of people become friends on a personal level and they actually just meet up in person. That is a point that you want to reach. Surround yourself with people that, one, are better than you. It's never perfect to be the smartest person in the room. You want to be surrounding yourself with people that are pushing you to be the best possible version of yourself. If you aren't surrounding yourselves with these individuals, you're never going to reach that point. I love this saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you are surrounding yourself with 5 amazing creators on social media, you are consequently going to become like them or improve with them. So build those real connections, and trust me, you are going to love the process because of it. Moving on to lesson number 4, and this is one you increasingly learn over time. It's something that a lot of people say, but something you tend to ignore when you're first starting out, and it's to listen to your audience. You need to remember that at the end of the day, the content you produce on social media and the lessons you provide, they're not for you. They're for the people that follow you. So you're not creating content for yourself, you're creating content for them. So when you are creating content for them, you need to listen to them. If they are giving you tips on how you can improve your content, they may not like a certain way you do something. Listen to that. Take it as constructive criticism. Don't take it offensively and go, okay, I don't like this person, and block them. There's clearly a reason as to why they're saying it, so take it on board. Take a serious look at your content and go, okay, how can I change what they've said so that I can begin tailoring the content so it makes more sense, or creating it in a way that's easier to consume. Take on board constructive criticism. Don't take it offensively. Another point, your content needs to be catered towards the needs and the wants of your audience. So in order to find those needs and wants, you need to ask them. In your comment section, people may ask you questions or ask you to elaborate on certain points. Take those as content ideas. Listen to them. On your story, have a question and an answer poll. What do you currently struggle with regards to whatever niche you're in? For example, I would go, what are you currently struggling with when it comes to monetizing your Instagram page? Every single response I get to that question is a content idea for me. I am listening to what they want to hear, and therefore I am then able to go and create content tailored to those needs and wants. When you are tailoring your content to the needs and wants of your audience and you are listening to them, your engagement's going to go through the roof because you know that it's targeted to what they actually want to see. You aren't guessing on what you need to produce. You're producing it because they've asked you to produce it. So stop guessing and creating content for yourself and doing everything for you as a creator, because at the end of the day, that is not what social media is for. That is not why you have an audience. You have an audience because people follow you for a specific reason. Now, I mention this quite a lot. There's many reasons why people may follow you. They may be entertained by your content. Your content may educate them. It may motivate them. Anything along those lines. But for me, for example, I educate. People who follow me are at point A. I am at point B. My content helps them bridge the gap between point A and point B, and that's why they follow me. My content educates them. But if my content isn't tailored towards their needs and wants, I can't help them bridge that gap between point A and point B. So it's really important to listen to your audience. It's one of the most important things if you want your content to be helpful, to be targeted, to get a high engagement, and consequently, in the long term, help you monetize. So there you have it. Lesson number 4, please, please, please listen to your audience. Now, the final lesson I want to mention, and this is going to be a tough pill for many people to swallow, because on social media, everybody wants that overnight quick fix, 1,000 followers in 2 days or 10,000 followers in a week. That's never going to happen. It took me 157 days to get to the point where I'm at today. 5 solid months of hard work. Not a week, not 2 weeks, 5 solid months. And I did it every single day. There's no quick hack to building a loyal audience. If there's someone that approaches you and says, I can get you 10,000 followers in 7 days, huge red flag. They are going to either buy you followers, put you in an engagement pod, or all of those things that are just everything I'm against. If you want to build a real, loyal, engaged following, it's going to take time. And therefore, my final lesson is consistency is everything. Those who are consistent are going to outperform everyone in the long run. I know personally that I will outperform a lot of creators because 3 or 4 months down the line, they are going to give up. They're going to drop off because they start seeing a drop in their engagement. Their following slows down and consequently they become discouraged. But me, I'm going to continue no matter what. I'm going to keep posting every single day. I'm going to keep engaging with my audience. I'm going to keep responding to DMs and building relationships because I know that consistency in the long term will help me. And if you have that mindset, you will succeed as well. You've got to remember that social media is a long-term game. You want it to help you build a business, especially if you're in the position I'm in. And that's not a 6-month thing. That's a 5, 10, 15, 20-year plan. It's not something that's just going to stick around for 6 months and I'm going to throw it to the side and focus on something else. Instagram is a great way to leverage attention for your business, and therefore you want to think about this as a long-term strategy. Don't think about 2-3 weeks down the line and not seeing any growth and therefore you go, this isn't for me. I don't want this anymore. Think, if I carry this on for 3 or 4 years, what position would I be at then? Something that haunts me and keeps me motivated every single day is I don't want to get 3 or 4 years down the line and go to myself, if only I carried that on. Imagine where I'd be at now. That haunts me. So something I do is I make sure I'm consistent. I make sure I continue to show up every day so that doesn't happen. Instead, 4 years down the line, I can go to myself, thank God I carried on doing this every single day. Because look at the position I'm in now. Not what could the position been. It's look at where I am now. So have that mindset. Have that long-term mindset. Do not get discouraged after 3 weeks. Because after 3 weeks, I hadn't seen much growth at all. It was very, very slow to begin with, and it exponentially builds as more people learn about who you are, what you do, as the algorithm understands your content, pushes you on hashtags, as you improve your content. That is when you begin to see the exponential increase. But people quit before they see that exponential increase because they are discouraged by the fact they are putting so much work in and seeing no results. But you've got to remember, even though you can't see it, those efforts that you are putting in are compounding. There is stuff happening in the background, but you can't see it. You just can't see it. And I promise you, if you just continue push through that point where you are currently seeing no engagement, if you push through that point, you will eventually succeed. Just stay consistent. Consistency is everything. And it's the most valuable point I'm going to probably ever mention on this podcast. If you want to succeed with Instagram growth, with your business, with anything in life, just be consistent. Never give up. And that rounds up the lessons I have learned on my journey to 10,000 followers. If you did enjoy today's video, as you can see, I'm a very new creator here on YouTube, trying to diversify my following, take it from Instagram, grow a subscriber base here on YouTube as well. If you did enjoy, I'd really appreciate if you hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turned on post notifications. That way you are never going to miss an episode when I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. But I did just want to mention that this is a part of my podcast series, Social Media Marketing School. It's available on pretty much any podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Google. You name it, just head over to one of those, search Social Media Marketing School, and you will find it. But the reason to actually be listening on the audio version of the podcast is because this content is released a couple of days earlier on there. Then a couple of days later, the video is uploaded to YouTube. So if you want to consume the content sooner, head over to the audio version of the podcast. If you prefer the video, stick here on YouTube. But if you have any questions with regards to anything I've mentioned in today's episode, just reach out to me on Instagram at @themarketingethan, send me a DM, and I'll make sure I get back to you no matter what. But I just want to finish off by saying, if you have made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you in the next one.